Now in this class we will discuss about CET and NEET preparation for the chapter 3 current electricity. Okay, it is a very big chapter and you may get around 5 questions from this chapter. Now we will look out some 5 important points which are not covered in NCERT textbooks. Okay, we will go through those points. Now let me take the first point. If you have a resistor, if you have a wire of resistance R is stretched to the length n times of its original length. We have a wire, it has certain length. If I stretch that wire, that length increases. Now I am stretching that one to n times. Then obviously the resistance of the stretched wire is R dash is equal to n square into R. This is one important point. And the another one, if the same wire of resistance capital R and radius small r and length L is stretched so that its radius becomes 1 by nth times of its original radius, then the length of the stretched wire becomes L dash is equal to n square into L, and its resistance becomes R dash is equal to n to the power of 4. So here it is n to the power of 4 into R. This is one more point. And if we pass a current through that wire having a resistance R, current I is flowing for a time t seconds, then heat is produced, and that heat produced is given by H is equal to I square R into T. Now fourth point, if R1 is the resistance of a wire or the material at a temperature T1 and alpha is the temperature coefficient of resistance, then the temperature at which the resistance becomes R2 is T2 is equal to T1 plus R2 minus R1 divided by alpha into R1. So directly we use this formula for calculating the higher temperature. Next problem, if R0 is the resistance at 0 degree Celsius and R100 is the resistance of a material at 100 degree Celsius, then the temperature at which the resistance of the material becomes RT can be calculated by using this formula. T is equal to RT minus R100 divided by T is equal to RT minus R0 divided by R100 minus R0 into 100. Now these are 5 important points. So with these points we can solve some problems. Let me take the first problem. Now Ohm's law is applicable to options: A. Diode, B. Transistor, C. Electrolyte, and D. Conductor. We know that Ohm's law is not applicable for semiconductor devices. Those are called non-ohmic devices because there is no linear variation of voltage and current in the case of semiconductors, and hence diode and transistors, they are not workable, they are not the right answers. And also the electrolyte, here the current is due to both the positive and negative ions, therefore it is also not possible, and hence Ohm's law is applicable only for the conductors, hence D is the right answer. Next problem. If the last band on the carbon resistor is absent, then the tolerance is options: A 5%, B 20%, C 10%, and D 15%. We know that in the color coding of resistors, if the last band represents the tolerance. If the last band is gold, the tolerance is 5%. If it is silver, it is 10%. If there is no color, that means the last band is absent, its tolerance is 20%. Hence B is the right answer here. Next problem. The effective resistance between capital P and capital Q for the following network is. Now they have given the network here like this: P and Q, and 5 resistors are connected: 4 ohm, 6 ohm, 5 ohm, 3 ohm, and 3 ohm, like this. We have to calculate the effective resistance across P and Q. Now answer: options: A 1 by 12 ohm, B 21 ohms, C 12 ohm, and D 1 by 21 ohms. Okay, so We will rearrange that network as like this. Now we have the first register 4 ohm resistor, and then a 6 ohm resistor, and then a 5 ohm resistor, and at the top there are two resistors 3 ohm as connected as shown in that diagram. Now look at the diagram. In the diagram, the top end 3 ohm resistors, they are connected in series. Therefore, we can replace it by their equivalent resistance. 3 ohm, they are in series. Their equivalent is 6 ohm. Therefore, I will replace those two resistors by a single resistor of 6 ohm. Now look at the diagram. That 6 ohm resistor is in parallel with the another 6 ohm resistor. Since they are in parallel, the effective resistance is Rp is equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. If you apply that one, or if you use the direct relation, if equal resistors are in parallel, then the effective resistance R dash is equal to R by N, that formula. If you use that one, we will get 6 by 2, that is 3 ohm. I will replace those two resistors by a single resistor of 3 ohm. Now look at the same network reduces to this format, and all the three resistors here are in series. Therefore, the equivalent resistance is 4 plus 3, 7 plus 5, 12. 12 ohm is the right answer. So like this, we can rewrite the circuits to our convenient way and solve the problems. Next problem. 5 identical resistors, each of resistance R is equal to 1500 ohm, connected to a 300 volt battery as shown in the circuit. The reading of the ideal ammeter A is, now look at the diagram. They have given 5 resistors. They are connected in parallel across a 300 volt battery, and there is an ammeter is connected. What is the reading shown by the ammeter? Options are A 1 by 5 amps, B 3 by 5 amps, C 2 by 5 amps, and D 4 by 5 amps. Now let me write that diagram. Now we have a battery, and through that battery 5 resistors are connected in parallel as shown in the diagram, and at the other end an ammeter is connected as shown in that diagram. We are connecting an ammeter, and it is connected back to the negative terminal of the battery. So as and when the circuit is completed, the current starts to flow. Look at the direction of the currents. It is leaving from the positive of the battery, and it is entering at the negative of the battery. Now since all the resistors are equal and are connected in parallel, the voltage across each resistor is the same. Therefore, since the resistors are equal, the current through each resistor is also the same. If you work out the current across each resistor, is simply, if I take I1 as the current flowing through the one resistor, then it is same, and it is given by V by R, that is V is 300 and R is 1500. So 300 divided by 1500 is 1 by 5 amps. Therefore, the current through each resistor is 1 by 5 amps. Now look at the diagram. Here, the first two resistors, after the first two resistors, an ammeter is placed. Therefore, through the ammeter, current flows which is coming from the last three resistors as encircled there. Now look at that one. We have encircled that one. That means the current flowing through those three resistors, it passes through the ammeter, and the current flowing through the first two resistors, it simply moves back to the battery without passing through the ammeter. So therefore, what is the current and what is the reading of the ammeter means it is current from the last three resistors. Current through one resistor is 1 by 5. Therefore, three resistors, they are connected in parallel. In parallel combination, the current gets added up. Therefore, 1 by 5 plus 1 by 5 plus 1 by 5. Therefore, it is 3 by 5. Therefore, ammeter reads 3 by 5 amps, and hence answer is B is the right answer here, 3 by 5 amps. Next problem. Two cells of internal resistances R1 and R2 and same EMF are connected in series across a resistor of resistance capital R, that is the load resistor. If the terminal potential difference across the cell of internal resistance R1 is 0, then the value of capital R is, so options, so A, capital R is equal to 2 into R1 plus R2, B, capital R is equal to R2 minus R1, C, capital R is equal to R1 minus R2, and D, capital R is equal to 2 into R2 minus R1. Now let me write the diagram. Now we have two cells of equivalent EMF E and they have internal resistances R1 and R2. They are connected to an external load resistor capital R. Since the cells are in series, their equivalent EMF is E1 plus E2 and equivalent resistance, internal resistance is R1 plus R2. Now here E1 and E2 are equal, therefore E equivalent is equal to 2E. Now we will work out what is the current flowing through the circuit. The current is given by E equal total EMF divided by the total resistance, that is E equivalent divided by R equivalent total along with plus capital R. Therefore that is 2E divided by R1 small r1 plus R2 plus capital R. Now that is the current flowing through the circuit. In the problem they have given the terminal potential across the resistor having resistance R1 is 0. So that means the terminal potential across the first EMF, if we take it as 0, therefore terminal voltage is given by V1 is equal to E minus I into R1. This should be is equal to 0. So it is given. So from this one, what is current I? The current I is given by E by R1. Now we have got two expressions for the currents and equating them and simplify for R. Now equating them, E by R1 is equal to 2E divided by R1 plus R2 plus R. Now here EMF E get cancels and cross multiplying and simplifying we will get R, capital R is equal to R1 minus R2. Hence C is the right answer here. Next problem. The IV graph for two different electrical appliances capital P and capital Q are as shown in the diagram. If Rp and Rq be the resistance of the devices, then options A, Rp is equal to Rq, B, Rp greater than Rq, C, Rp less than Rq, and D, Rp is equal to Rq divided by 2. They have given the circuit here, they have given the diagram. Now we have the voltage across, the x-axis and current along the y-axis. The graph for the first appliance P is as shown in the yellow and another one is appliance Q is as shown in the blue color. Now here we have to find the relation. The reciprocal of the slope of the graph represents resistance. Now the P graph having a lesser slope, therefore its reciprocal means its resistance becomes more. Q graph is having a higher slope, therefore its reciprocal means resistance becomes lesser. So obviously appliance P has a higher resistance compared to Q, therefore P should be greater than Rp should be greater than Rq, hence B is the right answer here. Next problem. In the figure shown, if the diode forward voltage drop is 0.2 volts, the voltage difference between capital A and B terms, voltage difference between the A and B terminals, the circuit is as shown in the diagram. We have to work out what is the potential difference across A and B. Options are A 1.3 volts, B 2.2 volts, C 0 volt and D 0.5 volts. Let me look at the diagram. Now the terminal potential difference across A and B is that since they are in series, current is same I. Now the potential difference across the first resistor is I into R1 plus Vd represents the potential difference across the diode plus I into R2 represents the potential difference across the second resistor. Current is given 0.5 milliamps, that is 10 to minus 3. So if you substitute the values 0.2 into 10 to minus 3 into 5 into 10 to plus 3 plus 0.2, it is the voltage drop across the diode, plus 0.2 into 10 to minus 3 into 5 into 10 to plus 3. If you simplify this one, 0.2 into 5, it is 1, 10 to minus 3 plus 3 get cancels, 1 plus 0.2 plus 1, therefore it is 2.2. Therefore potential difference across A and B is 2.2 volts, hence B is the right answer here. Next problem. A cylindrical conductor of diameter 0.1 millimeter carries a current of 90 milliamps. The current density in ampere per meter square is pi value they have given. We have to take pi is equal to 3. Options are 1.2 into 10 raised to 7, B 2.4 into 10 raised to 7, C 6 into 10 raised to 6, and D 3 into 10 to the power of 6. Now we know that current density is the current per unit area. Therefore current density J is equal to I by A. Now here they have given a cylindrical conductor. Even though it is a cylindrical conductor, the current flows through only the circular cross-sectional area. Therefore J is equal to I by pi r square. Now in the problem they have given the diameter. If you divide it by 2, you will get the radius. Now substituting the values, current is given 90 milliamps, 90 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by 3 into radius is half of the diameter, that is 0.05 into 10 raised to minus 3 whole square. If I write 0.05 into 10 raised to minus 3 whole square, 0.05 as 5 into 10 raised to minus 5 and squaring it. So 90 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by 3 into 25 into 10 raised to minus 10. So in the denominator 3 into 25 is 75, 90 by 75 it is approximately 1.2, and 10 raised to minus 10 in the denominator moves to the numerator, it becomes plus 10 and minus 3, therefore 10 raised to plus 7. Therefore 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 1.2 into 10 raised to plus 7 is ampere per meter square is the right answer. Hence A is the right answer, ampere per meter square. Next problem. A piece of copper is to be shaped into a conducting wire of maximum resistance. Okay, the suitable length and diameter are dash and dash respectively. Now they have given a copper piece, we have to make it a wire so that its resistance should be larger. We know that resistance of a conducting wire is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the area of cross section. We know that relation. Now the options are A 2L and D by 2, B 2L and D, C L by 2 and 2D, and D L and D. We know that resistance is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the area of cross section, or inversely proportional to the radius, square of the radius or square of the distance. So that means L should be larger and D should be smaller. With that simple knowledge, the last two options C and D are no longer the right answers by the method of elimination, because they are having L by 2 and L. The first two options are 2L to L. Therefore answer should be one between them, among them. Now diameter should be minimum. So among the first two options, D is in the B option, D is, and in the A option we are having D by 2. Therefore D by 2 is the minimum value, and hence obviously A is the right answer. Now we look at resistance is given by R is equal to rho into L by A, and therefore resistance directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the square of the diameter. If it is radius, given radius, we take R square. Here it is given diameter, therefore we will take it as D square. So obviously A is the right answer. Length should be larger and the diameter should be a smaller one. Next problem. Of the following graphs, the IV characteristic of a ohmic device is, look at the diagram. They have given 4 diagrams, A, B, C, D. Among them you have to choose which device represents ohmic device, which graph. We know that according to the statement of Ohm's law, current and voltage are directly proportional, and the IV graph for this ohmic device, it should be a linear graph. With that knowledge, we can choose the answer. C is the right answer. The graph should be linear, and hence C is the right answer. Next problem. The value of I current in the figure shown below is. Now look at the diagram. They have given this diagram. The current is entering and leaving through the various branches and the junctions. Now we have to work out what is the current, final current at the terminal I. Now options are A 19 amps, B 4 amps, C 21 amps, and D 8 amps. Now let me write the diagram like this. Now we have this rectangular block with 4 arms. Now let me take the junctions. Now K, L, M, N. I am choosing some 4 junctions K, L, M, N. Let us assume that I am taking first the K junction. Through that K junction, current of 20 amps is entering. Now that is entering. As it enters at the junction K, as shown in the diagram, 5 amps is leaving from the junction K towards the L. Now 5 amps of current is leaving. According to the junction rule, now what is the current through the another arm, that is Kn, that is 20 minus 5, it is 15 amps. Therefore 15 amps of current is flowing towards the junction N. Okay, clear? Okay, now let me take the other junction, L junction. At the L junction, current 5 amps is entering the L junction. And as shown in the diagram, 3 amps is leaving. So among the 5 amps, 3 amps is leaving. Therefore, 2 amps of current is left out. It is moving towards the junction M as shown in the diagram. Therefore, 2 amps of current is moving towards the junction M. Now let me move on to the junction N. At the junction N, 15 amps of current is entering, and as shown 4 amps is also entering the junction N. According to junction rule, the current has to leave. 15 plus 4, it is 19 amps. It is leaving from the junction N towards the M. Now look at the junction M. So 19 amps of current is entering, and 2 amps is also entering. Therefore, the current is leaving from the junction M, that is 21 amps. Hence, the value of I in the problem is 21 amps. And C is the right answer. Next problem. In meter bridge experiment, with a standard resistance in the right gap and a resistance coil dipped in water in a beaker in the left gap, the balancing length obtained is L. If the temperature of water is increased, the new balancing length is options: A greater than L, B is equal to 0, C less than L, and D is equal to L. Okay, balancing length is the same. First one increases, second one 0, third one decreases, fourth one remains the same. Now look at the meter bridge diagram. Now we have this simple meter bridge diagram. Now we have a 1 meter length wire AC, and it is connected across the battery, and L-shaped metal strips and straight strips are connected as shown in the diagram. In the left gap we have a resistor. It is dipped in a beaker containing water. In the right gap you have a standard resistance boxes. Now in the middle we have a galvanometer. Now that a point D represents the null point. Now when it is dipped in water, the balancing length is L, that is given. Therefore AD becomes L, and DC becomes, we know that 100 minus L. Now in the problem, as the temperature of water is raised, that is water in the beaker, its temperature is raised. Obviously what happens, we know that the resistance on the left gap, it goes on increases. By the balancing condition of the Wheatstone network, as the R increases, the AD part should increase in order to get the null deflection in the galvanometer. So obviously the balancing length for the hot water should increase. That means it should be greater than the initial length. Therefore answer should be L, balancing length should be greater than L, hence A is the right answer. Next problem. The power dissipated in 3 ohm resistance in the following circuit is, they have given the circuit like this. We have to work out what is the power dissipation across the 3 ohm resistor. Options are 0.75 amp, 0.75 watt, B 0.25 watt, C 1 watt, and D 0.5 watt. Now let me rewrite the diagram. We have a battery of 4.5 volts. Now that is connected, it is having an internal resistance of 1 ohm. Now it is connected through a 2 ohm resistor here as shown in the diagram, and then from that one two parallel resistors are connected. Now I am rewriting the diagram that 3 ohm and 6 ohm, they are parallel according to the diagram we have written. Now another resistor 4 ohm is connected externally and they are interconnected. The circuit I have rewritten in this fashion. Now here look here, 3 ohms and 6 ohm, they are parallel. Therefore we will work out the 3 ohm and 6 ohm, they are parallel. I will replace their equivalent, that is R equivalent is R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. 3 into 6 divided by 3 plus 6, that is 3 into 6 is 18 by 9, that is 2 ohm. I will replace those two resistors by a single resistor of equivalent resistance 2 ohm. Now look at the circuit. Now here 2 ohm and 2 ohm are series, their equivalent is 4 ohm, and another 4 ohm is they are in parallel. Their equivalent becomes 2 ohm. Now if you work out their equivalent, it becomes 2 ohm. Therefore, the current through the circuit is R equivalent becomes 2 ohm, and the current through the circuit will work out E divided by small r plus capital R. E is given 4.5, small r is given 1 ohm, and capital R, that is R equivalent, we have worked out, it is 2 ohm. That is 4.5 by 3, it is 1.5 amps of current is coming, main current. As the current is 1.5 amps, here we have two branches of equal resistances. Therefore, current divides equally. That means across the first branch, that is 2 ohm 2 ohm series resistance branch, current becomes 0.75, and across the second branch having 4 ohm resistance, it is also 0.75. Therefore, current through the 2 ohm resistor and 4 ohm resistor remains the same, is 0.75, 0.75. Now as and when the current through current through the 2 ohm resistor enters, it is 0.75, and in the next point junction we are having two resistors 3 and 6. Therefore the branch currents has to be divided in the inverse ratio of the resistors. Now 3 ohm resistor, 6 ohm resistor, their ratio is 1:2. Therefore current should be in the inverse ratio, 2:1. Now the current entering from the 2 ohm resistor is 0.75. Therefore 0.5 passes through 3 ohm resistor and 0.25 it passes through 6 ohm resistor. Therefore current through the 3 ohm resistor is 0.25 amps, and hence the power dissipation, branch current is 0.75 and the current through the 3 ohm resistor is 0.5 as I have explained. Therefore the power is I square into R, 0.5 square into R is 3, is 0.5 whole square is 0.25 into 3, therefore it is 0.75 watts. Hence A is the right answer here, 0.75 watt. Next problem. Three resistances 2 ohm, 3 ohm, 4 ohm are connected in parallel. They are connected in parallel. The ratio of currents passing through them when a potential difference is applied across its ends will be options 5:4:3, B 6:3:2, C 4:3:2, and D 6:4:3. We know that the current obviously flows with the inverse ratio of their resistances. In parallel combination, voltage across each resistor is same. If I calculate the current through each resistor, I1 is equal to V by R1, I2 is equal to V by R2, and I3 is equal to V by R3. If you take the ratio of them, therefore V by R1 is to V by R2 is to V by R3, V get cancels. R1, R2, R3 are given. 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. But in the option, there is no fractional, in the answers, there is no fractional. Therefore, we have to multiply the right hand side terms with their LCM. So LCM becomes 12. So if you multiply by 12, 12 by 2 it is 6, 12 by 3 it is 4, and 12 by 4 it is 3. Therefore 6 is to 4 is to 3 is the answer. Hence D is the right answer here. Next problem. 4 identical cells of EMF E and internal resistance r are to be connected in series. Suppose if one of the cell is connected wrongly, the equivalent EMF and equivalent internal resistance of the combination is. A very simple problem. Options: A 2E and 4R, B 4E and 4R, C 2E and 2R, and D 4E and 2R. Now look at the diagram. We have the two cells of equivalent four cells. Okay, first cell of equivalent EMF E and resistance R. Then we are connecting, they are connected in series. Now we have the second cell having the same EMF and internal resistance. We have the third cell, same EMF and internal resistance, and we have the fourth cell, same EMF and internal resistance. They are connected in series. If they are connected like this, then the equivalent EMF is sum of the 4 EMFs, that is 4E, and equivalent internal resistance is 4R. But in the problem they have given, one of the cell is wrongly connected. That means the terminals are interchanged. Let me choose the last one is the cell. I am removing that one, and it is oppositely connected. The positive and negative terminals becomes inverted. Since the positive and negative terminals becomes inverted, that EMF becomes minus E. Therefore, if you find the equivalent EMF, it is E plus E plus E, and the last one is minus E, and hence plus E minus E get cancelled. Therefore, equivalent EMF becomes 2E, but the resistance remains the same added up, that is 4R. Hence, A is the right answer here. Next problem. In the circuit shown below, the ammeter and the voltmeter readings are 3 amps and 6 volts respectively. Then the value of the resistance R is. Now, A, the options: A less than 2 ohm, B 2 ohm, C greater than or equal to 2 ohm, D it is greater than 2 ohms. Now look at the circuit diagram here. Now we have this resistor to which an ammeter is connected in series and a voltmeter is connected in parallel. The reading of the ammeter is 3 amps and voltmeter is 6 amps. Therefore, we have resistance R is equal to V by I, simple formula. V is given, it is 6 amps, 6 volts, and it is 6 by 3. Therefore, it is 2 ohms. Resistance of the conductor is 2 ohms. Therefore, B is the right answer here. Next problem. Two cells of EMF E1 and E2 are joined in opposite such that E1 greater than E2. If R1 and R2 be the internal resistances and capital R be the external resistance, then the terminal potential difference is. Now look at the circuit diagram is given. The two cells E1 and E2, they are invertly connected, oppositely connected with internal resistances R1 and R2, and they are connected to an external load resistor capital R. Now options: A E1 plus E2 into capital R divided by R1 plus R2, B E1 minus E2 into capital R divided by R1 plus R2, C E1 minus E2 into capital R divided by R1 plus R2 plus R, and D E1 plus E2 into capital R divided by R1 plus R2 plus capital R. Now by the method of elimination, since they are oppositely connected, the equivalent EMF becomes E1 minus E2. With that knowledge, we can eliminate A and D, obviously. Therefore, the answer should be between B and C. Now in the B, we have only R1 plus R2. In the C, we have R1 plus R2 plus R. Therefore, the total resistance is R1 plus R2 plus R. And hence, obviously, C will be the right answer. With this knowledge, we can easily, directly, without doing any calculations, we can choose the answer. Let me work out how we will get answer C. Now, potential, they have asked the terminal potential. Now, terminal potential V is equal to E equivalent minus I into R equivalent. Now here E equivalent and the current through the circuit is E equivalent divided by the sum of the resistances, that is E1 minus E2 divided by R1 plus R2 plus capital R. It is the current flowing. If I substitute it in the above expression, now E equivalent is E1 minus E2 minus of current I, that is E1 minus E2 divided by R1 plus R2 plus capital R into total resistance R equivalent, that is equivalent resistance of the cells R1 plus R2. Now cross multiplying this one, we will get this term. Now here E1 minus E2 into R1 plus R2 and minus of E1 minus E2 into R1 plus R2 get cancels. Therefore we left with the terminal potential E1 minus E2 into capital R divided by R1 plus R2 plus capital R. Therefore C is the right answer. Next problem. By increasing the temperature, the specific resistance or resistivity of a conductor and a semiconductor. Options: A increases for both, B decreases for both, C increases and decreases respectively, and D decreases and increases respectively. Now it is a purely theoretical problem. Now we are increasing the temperature, therefore the specific resistivity of a conductor and semiconductor. For the conductor, specific resistivity, it increases with the temperature. For the case of a semiconductor, it decreases with the increase of temperature. Obviously, C is the right answer here. Next problem. The length of a wire of a potentiometer is 100 cm and the EMF of its standard cell is E volts. It is employed to measure the EMF of a battery whose internal resistance is 0.5 ohms. If the balance point is obtained at L is equal to 30 cm from the positive end, the EMF of the battery. Now here we are going to compare the EMF of two cells. Option A 330E divided by 100.5, B 30E divided by 100 minus 0.5 I, C 30E divided by 100 minus of 0.5 into I, and D 30E divided by 100. Now the potential, we will work out the potential gradient. Now in the first case, a 100 centimeter cell across which a voltage of E is connected. Therefore the potential gradient, that is potential drop per unit length, that is E by 100. Potential gradient is equal to E by 100. Now the terminal potential drop, it is, since the balance point is 30, whenever the second cell is connected, the terminal potential V becomes 30 into K. Therefore, the 30 into E divided by 100, that is the terminal voltage. Now we have to calculate the EMF of the second cell. Therefore, terminal voltage across the second cell is equal to EMF of the second cell E dash minus I into R. So here E is the primary cell which is connected across the potentiometer. E dash is the second cell connected in the secondary. Therefore, let me call it as a secondary cell that we are going to calculate. Therefore, we have calculated, that is 30 into E divided by 100 is equal to E dash, that we have to calculate, minus I is the current, that is small I, and its internal resistance of the cell is 0.5 is given. Therefore, E dash is equal to 30 into E divided by 100 minus of 0.5 I. Hence, C is the right answer here. Move on to the next problem. In a meter bridge experiment, null point is obtained at 20 cm from one end of the wire when resistance X is balanced against another resistance Y. If X is less than Y, then where should be the new position of the null point from the same end if one decides to balance a resistance of 4X against Y? Now we know the meter bridge balancing condition formula, P by Q is equal to R by S. We are using that one. Now let us choose the options. Option A 50 cm, B 80 cm, C 40 cm, D 70 cm. Now we have the condition P by Q is equal to R by S. So here in the arm P we are having X and in the arm Q we are having Y. Therefore x by y is equal to, they have given in the first case 20 centimeter is the balancing length, therefore 20 and 100 minus L is 80. Therefore x by y is equal to 1 by 4 we have got. Now we have to balance 4x by y. Therefore 4x by y becomes 4 into, we know the value of x by y, substituting that value of x by y, it is 1 by 4. Now it becomes 1 by 1. That means they are exactly balanced at the midpoint in the meter bridge. That midpoint is corresponds to 50 centimeter. Hence A is the right answer. A is the right answer. Next problem. In a potentiometer experiment, the balancing with a cell of is at length 240 centimeter. On shunting the cell with a resistance of 2 ohm, the balancing length becomes 120 centimeter. The internal resistance of the cell is options A 4 ohm, B 2 ohm, C 1 ohm, D 0.5 ohms. So here L1 and L2 are given. Now the first case, the balancing length is 240, that is L1 is equal to 240 centimeter. When the shell is centered with a resistance of 2 ohm, capital R is given 2 ohms, and the balancing length is L2 is 120 centimeter. We know the internal resistance R, small r is given by capital R into L1 by L2 minus 1, that formula we know. Now the given L1 is 240 centimeter, L2 is 120 centimeter, and R, capital R is 2 ohms. We have to calculate small r. Now small r is equal to L1 by L2 minus 1 into capital R. Now substituting the values, 240 divided by 120, it is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, therefore R is equal to 2 ohms, therefore B is the right answer here. Next problem. In a Wheatstone bridge, three resistors P, Q and R are connected in the three arms, and fourth arm is formed by two resistors S1 and S2 connected in parallel. The condition for bridge to be balanced will be, now option A, P by Q is equal to R divided by S1 plus S2. B, P by Q is equal to 2R divided by S1 plus S2. C, P by Q is equal to R into S1 plus S2 divided by S1 S2. And D, P by Q is equal to R into S1 plus S2 divided by 2 into S1 S2. We know the balancing condition is P by Q is equal to R by S. But S should be, it is the parallel of S1 and S2. In parallel combination, we know S1, S2, S equivalent is equal to S1, S2 divided by S1 plus S2. Therefore, P by Q is equal to R divided by S equivalent. Now substitute for the S equivalent, S1, S2 divided by S1 plus S2. The S1 plus S2 in the denominator goes to the numerator. Therefore, P by Q is equal to R into S1 plus S2 divided by S1 S2. Hence, C is the right answer. Next problem. The resistance of a bulb filament is 100 ohm at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. If its temperature coefficient of resistance be 0.005 per degree Celsius, its resistance will be 200 ohm at a temperature of, you have to find the temperature. Now options A 200 degrees Celsius, B 300 degrees Celsius, C 400 degrees Celsius and D 500 degrees Celsius. Now the given resistance R2 is equal to R1 into 1 plus alpha into T2 minus T1. Or we know the another formula for directly the temperature T2 is given by T1 plus R2 minus R1 divided by alpha into R1. Now substituting the values, T1 is given 100 plus R2 is 200 and R1 is 100. 200 minus 100 is 100 divided by alpha is given temperature coefficient of resistance 0.005 into 100. Now after simplification we will get 100 plus 200, that is 100 get cancels. 1 divided by 0.005 is 200. 100 plus 200 is 300 degrees Celsius. Hence B is the right answer here. Move on to the next problem. A material B has twice the specific resistance of A. A circular wire made of B has twice the diameter of wire made of A. Then the two wires to have the same resistance, the ratio of LB divided by LA. the ratio of the lengths of their respective lengths must be option A 2, B 1, C 1 by 2, D 1 by 4. Now here given the resistivity of the material B should be is equal to 2 times the resistivity of material A, and the diameter of B should be is equal to 2 times the diameter of A. Since it is given diameter, if you calculate the radius of B should be is equal to radius of 2 times RA. Therefore, RB is equal to 2 times RA. Now we know the resistance formula, R is equal to rho into L divided by A. Apply for both the materials. For material A, it is rho A, LA divided by AA. For the material B, it is rho B, LB divided by AB. Now the resistances are equal. Therefore, RA should be is equal to RB. Therefore, we will equate these two equations. Rho A, rho B, LB divided by area is pi RB square. It should equal to rho A, LA divided by pi RA square. Now pi get cancels here. Now we have to calculate LB divided by LA. Now look at that one. LB divided by LA is equal to RB divided by RA whole square into rho A divided by rho B. Now RB divided by RA is 2, therefore 2 square, and rho A divided by rho B is half, therefore 2 square into half, therefore it is 2. The ratio should be 2, and hence the answer A is the right answer. Next problem.
Resistance of a wire is 5 ohms at 50 degrees Celsius and 6 ohms at 100 degrees Celsius. The resistance of the wire at 0 degrees Celsius will be options A 3 ohm, B 2 ohm, C 1 ohm, and D 4 ohms. Now look here, without doing any calculation, we can easily guess what will be the answer. Now at 100 degrees Celsius, it is 6 ohm, and at 50 degrees Celsius, it is 5 ohm. Now difference is 100 minus 50, it is 50 degree decrease again. So the resistance reduced to 1 ohm. 6 minus 5, it is 1 ohm. From 50 to 0 degree, it is 50 degree difference. Obviously 1 ohm difference should be there. Therefore the answer should be 4 ohms. That is, D should be the answer. Or we can work out with the help of a calculation also. Now R2 is equal to R1 into 1 plus alpha T2 minus T1. This is one formula. And also we have know the another formula. Directly the temperature T2 is given by T1 plus R. Now R2, that is R50 minus R100 is equal to R50 minus R0 is equal to R0 into alpha into 50, substituting the first case. And also R100 minus R0. R100 minus R0 is equal to R0 into alpha into 100. Now taking the ratios, R50 minus R0 divided by R100 minus R0 is equal to 50 by 100. Substituting the value of R50, it is 5 ohm, and R100, it is 6 ohm, is equal to 1 by 2, and solve for R0, we get 4 ohm resistance. Now graphically we can also solve this problem. D is the answer. Graphically we can also solve this problem. We have along the x-axis the temperature, and y-axis it is the resistance, and from according to the given data we have the resistance at different temperatures. 5 ohm resistance at 50 degree and 6 ohm resistance at 100 degree. Now difference is 50 degrees. Now we have to calculate what is the resistance at 0 degree. Now the difference in resistance is 1 ohm. If you plot the graph looks like this. With this graph you can estimate what is the temperature at 25 degree and 50 degree, 75 degree, anything value. If you know the graphical value correctly, we can measure. Now at 75 it is obviously 5.5, and at 25 it is obviously 4.5 ohms. Like this we can easily analyze the value of the resistance without doing any calculation. Okay. Next problem. In an experiment to measure the internal resistance of a cell by a potentiometer, it is found that the balance point is at a length of 2 meter when the cell is centered by a 5 ohm resistor, and it is at a length of 3 meter when the cell is centered by a 10 ohm resistance. The internal resistance of the cell. Options: A 1 ohm, B 1.5 ohm, C 10 ohm, and D 15 ohms. Now here we have to make use of the formula for internal resistance of a cell, that is R is equal to small r is equal to capital R into L1 by L2 minus 1. Here L1 is not given, first you have to work out L1. Now the formula is this one. Now apply the formula for the two cases. Now for the first case, resistance is 5 ohm and the balancing length is 2 meter. Therefore we have substituted L2 is 2 meter. L1 we don't know the value of L1. Therefore it is R is equal to 5 into L1 by 2 meter minus 1. For the second case, capital R is 10 ohm. Therefore 10 into L1 by L2 is 3 meter minus 1. Now these two are equal because the internal resistance of a cell is equal, equating them. So and solving for L1. If you solve for the L1, we will get 6 meter. Now carefully solve that one and simplifying that one, we will get L1 is equal to 6 meter. Now substituting this value of L1 at any one of the value of small resistance R, and if I substitute in the first equation, it is 6 by 2, it is 3 minus 2, it is 1, 1 into 5, it is 10. Therefore, internal resistance of the cell is 10 ohm, hence C is the right answer here. Next problem. A potentiometer consists of a wire of length 4 meter and a resistance of 10 ohm. It is connected to a cell of EMF 2 volts. The potential difference per unit length of the wire. Potential difference per unit length of the wire, it is nothing but potential gradient. Okay, that we have to work out. Option A 0.5 volt per meter, B 2 volts per meter, C 5 volts per meter, and D 10 volts per meter. Now here the potential drop per unit length, it is the potential gradient V by L, simple problem. Now EMF of the cell is 2 volts and length of the wire is 4 meter. So 2 by 4, it is 0.5. 0.5 volt per meter, it is the potential gradient. Here the 10 ohm resistance is given, it is not of use here at this for the potential gradient. It is independent of that resistance. Okay. Next problem. The answer is A 0.5 volt per meter. Next problem. The resistance of a cell is 4.2 ohm at 100 degrees Celsius and the temperature coefficient of resistance of the material is 0.004 per degree Celsius. Then its resistance at 0 degree Celsius is. Now we have to calculate the resistance at 0 degree Celsius. Now options A 5 ohm, B 3 ohm, C 4 ohm, and D 3.5 ohm. Now make use of the resistance at a temperature T 0. So R is equal to R naught into 1 plus alpha into T minus T naught, that is the formula. Now substituting, R is given at 100 degree 4.2, R naught we have to work out, 1 plus alpha is given 0.004 and T minus T naught. T is 100 degree Celsius and T naught is 0 degree Celsius. 100 minus 0, that is 0. Now 0 into 0.004, it is 0.4. Therefore 1 plus 0.4, it is 1.4. Therefore R naught is equal to 4.2 divided by 1.4, that is equal to 3 ohm. Therefore resistance at 0 degree Celsius is 3 ohm. Next problem. So answer is B is the answer, 3 ohm resistance. Next problem. In a potentiometer experiment of a cell of EMF 1.25 volts gives balancing length of 30 centimeter. If the cell is replaced by another cell, balancing length is found to be 40 centimeter. What is the EMF of the second cell? Now here options are A 1.57 volt, B 1.67, C 1.47, D 1.37 volts. Now we are making use of the comparison of EMF of two cells, that is given by the formula E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. E1 by E2 EMF of the two cells, L1 and L2 the corresponding balancing lengths. That is the formula. Now substituting the values, E1 is given, it is 1.25, E2 we have to calculate, L1 is given 30 and L2 is 40. Therefore E2 is equal to 1.25 into 4 divided by 3, that is 5 by 3. 5 by 3 is 1.67 volts, and B is the right answer here. Next problem. Which of the following is a correct statement? Now look at the options here. A. Heat produced in a conductor varies directly as the current flowing. B. Heat produced in a conductor varies inversely as the current flowing. C. Heat produced in a conductor varies directly as square of the current flowing. And D. Heat produced in a conductor varies inversely as the square of the current flowing. We know the expression for heat produced in a conductor of resistance R carrying a current I, that is H is equal to I square R into T, where T is the time for which the current is flowing. So therefore, from this simple relation, obviously C is the right answer, that is heat produced in a conductor varies directly as the square of the current flowing through it. Hence, C is the right answer.